Have you ever wondered how the piano was first created? Famous composer Bartolomeo Cristofori gets the credit for perfecting the instrument we know and love, but the truth is that keyboard-like instruments had already been evolving for hundreds of years before Cristofori got his hands on one. The first time we saw keys ordered from low to high pitch was all the way back in ancient Greece. Around 300 BCE, the Greeks invented a water-powered instrument they called the hydraulis, which used water power to pump air through a series of metal pipes. The hydraulis was small, needed 2 sets of hands to operate, and only had a handful of notes to play, but it eventually gave way to a much grander instrument, the pipe organ. 100 years later, the pipe organ was invented to take the idea of pumping air to a new extreme. Metal pipes in a wide range of sizes were installed into the framework of churches. The air moving through these pipes is controlled by the organist, who uses various keys, foot pedals, and stops to control the pitch and volume of the music being played. Pipe organs come in lots of different sizes, but even a small one can cost a ton of money and be quite a hassle to install. It wasn't until the 1300s that a new keyboard instrument was invented. The clavichord quickly became popular because it was the first time people could have the joy of playing a keyboard instrument in their very own home. The clavichord box could even be picked up and transported to other locations. However, the clavichord did not have room for nearly as many keys as the pipe organ, so musicians were still on a search for something better. In the 1400s, they created the harpsichord. This new design allowed for more long strings, which extended the range of the notes that could be played. Some harpsichords even had room for a second row of keys, like the pipe organ did. During this time, artisans started to get creative with their handmade instruments, even sometimes painting full works of art inside the lids of their harpsichords. A few hundred years went by before the next big change in keyboard instruments. The harpsichord was great, but musicians had one big issue with it. The harpsichord could only play at one volume, which limited how expressively musicians could play. This problem was solved with the next evolution of the keyboard, the pianoforte. This new innovation came during the 1700s and added weight to the keys so players could change how loud or soft the sound was based on how hard they pressed down. This instrument got its name because it could play both piano, soft, and forte, loud. Over time, this name has been shortened to the piano. From here on out, the piano has only seen minor tweaks and adjustments. In the 1800s, they switched to the black and white colors of the keys to make them a bit easier to tell apart. Then they figured out how to condense the strings into an upright cabinet that took up way less space. The next big development wasn't until the 1920s, when they first started to experiment with electric pianos. They were not that advanced and did not really catch on. In the 1930s, the pipe organ was finally revisited. As popular as it had become to have a piano in your home, the organ still wasn't accessible to the average person. The Hammond organ, named after one of its inventors, replicated the sound and feel of the pipe organ all inside one box. Without the need to install dozens of pipes, the Hammond organ could be placed anywhere you'd like, even in your living room. Some Hammond organs have stops and pedals, but others got rid of these pieces to make them more compact. The 1960s saw a more successful pairing of the piano and modern technology than they'd had back in the 20s. These intelligent inventors created the first ever synthesizer, a machine that could play a whole host of novelty sounds using the standard keys of a keyboard. However, these first prototype machines weren't the same as what you see today. They were clunky and a tangled mess of brightly colored wires that were very difficult to tell apart. Over time, we refined the design, and technology improved so much that the highest quality modern digital keyboards can almost exactly mimic the feel of a real acoustic piano. And that's how we got from ancient Greece to the 21st century. The piano is one of the most beloved instruments in the world, and it's fascinating to think how long it took to become the instrument we know and love today.